January in the greenhouse. I know I've been just boring the heck out of you guys with video after video about, you know, heating the greenhouse, insulating the greenhouse, trying to passively collect heat and hold it in the greenhouse, but you know, what else the heck we're going to talk about greenhouses during the winter? But you know, most people consider January a dormant time in the greenhouse. If you've already minimized your heat loss, you've already insulated the heck out of it, the weather stripping, all the bubble wrap and the paneling, the foam insulation, the 2-inch foam insulation with the reflective coating on it. If you've already done all of that, you know, what else can we do? Well, we can add some heat sinks. Those would be ideally, because they work the best, barrels, steel drums, black steel drums filled with water all along the north side, and maybe holding benches throughout the rest of your greenhouse. Anything to kind of accumulate some of that heat in the greenhouse during the day and release it at night. But you've already done all that. Okay, well, let's see. We're going to try and, let's see, what can we do? We could clean our seeds, clean our flats, clean our containers. Okay, there's a day and a half or an hour, depending how big the greenhouse is. We could prune, repot the fruit plants. There's another day. So we could prepare our soils for winter, get everything ready, get the beds ready, and get the, you know, get them tilled, get everything tip-top shape, ready to go. Needs to be done. Now's a good time to do it. Not a lot of fun. So what can we do? Let's grow something. For gosh sakes, let's grow something in the greenhouse. So what we're going to try to grow is basically greens, salad greens, maybe some peas. So we're looking at lettuce, peas, spinach, and the greens from turnips. So we're going to need to maximize our light, and we do that by anything not painted black. Anything that's not painted black to absorb heat needs to be white or a reflector. It needs to be that reflector on the foam. And if we need some more, like say on the halfway up the north eave of your greenhouse, if you've got the sun coming in here, you've got the wall that's already insulated. What about that eave? Hopefully we've insulated about half of it. Let's put reflectors on that half. We don't have to go and do something fancy. We don't have to spend a lot of money on it. We could use aluminum foil. We could use those, if you have windshield reflectors in your car that you use during the summer, the kind that you pop up and stick up when you in your windshield to keep your car from getting so frickin' hot. Well, you're probably not using those during the winter. Or if you are, they're so cheap. Go grab 2 or 3 of them for a couple bucks a piece and just put little reflectors. It'll be like your own little tanning bed for your plants. Just set them all around the greenhouse, shining on that little area where we're going to be growing. We've talked before about having a greenhouse inside of a greenhouse. So if we're doing that, say we've got one of those little, you know, pop-ups, those little 6x6 pop-ups. We've moved our trays in and we're going to try to grow some lettuce in there. We can, hopefully, with the sun coming in and all of our reflectors, we're popping enough sun in there to work for them. If not, we're going to throw a cheap light in there. It doesn't need to be a fancy, expensive grow light. We'll just get a fluorescent light with some daytime bulbs, or you know, we can put, or we can mix the bulbs. That, you know, if you go to most of the like the Home Depot, for example, they're really good about that. You go in and just say, hey, I'm going to be growing some plants, and which bulbs work great. And they have displays out, and it just tells you right there, this is the daylight bulb, or you can even mix them. They'll tell you, take one of these and one of these, put them in. It's the same as a grow light, but it's a fraction of the cost. You know, do that. If you're planting on your shelves, it might be a good time to use your little heat mats. You know, put your little seedling mats down and put your pots. If you have pots in the greenhouse and you have heat sinks, let's say we've got our barrels sitting here. They're black, they're warm during the day, and they release that heat at night. Well, put the pot on the barrel. I mean, it's like it'll heat the roots. So we can do some things to try to compensate for the short days, the low light. One thing about those plants, if you've got the reflectors, don't put the plants right up against the reflectors, because when it gets really hot in the afternoon, and it's amazing when you go out in the greenhouse, it's 30 degrees outside and there's snow on the ground, which reflects the light very well too, and it's 100 degrees in your greenhouse. So you don't want to burn your plants, so kind of play with that, a little trial and error. The one great thing about lettuce, if you kill it, it's not the biggest loss in the world, but it's kind of fun to grow and have something going on in the greenhouse during the winter. The black paint is sometimes an issue for folks. They'll tell you if it's a barrel, only paint the south-facing side black. But if you've got the reflectors everywhere, I would recommend go ahead and paint the whole darn thing black. That way, it's getting the reflector coming in. So not a lot. It's kind of weak, I know, not a lot going on in January, but you can do something. Or aquaponics. You can grow year round. Plus all that water helps keep your greenhouse warm.